Welcome back guys, Zanev Tech here. Today I want to do a quick review of the new Caudabe Sheath revised case for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This case does exist for the 15 Pros as well as the 15s, but I have the 15 Pro Max. So I did a review of this case on the channel before for the 14 Pro Max. However, things have changed since then and they are in a positive manner. So I wanted to do this review to show you exactly what has changed with the previous generation compared to this one. So let's start off with talking about the Sheath case. The Sheath case I've been using for the past couple generations of iPhones, and I buy this case every single time. Prior to that, I used to be a big fan of the Apple leather cases, but when I got my hands on this case, it is amazing. I mean, it's minimal, it doesn't add too much bulk to the phone, it has a nice grip. I mean, some people may say that it's a bit slippery, but I personally think that the grip is really nice. I do really enjoy how it looks on the phone, and it looks like it's just fitting like a glove on this phone. So this is exactly why I'm using this case. But this year, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max did have a new action button. So with the addition of that button, they made a case without a button on top of the action button. So the case did come out with a cutout. So this is the case that I originally pre-ordered with the phone. It does have a cutout for the action button. A lot of case manufacturers at the time when the iPhone 15 Pros were released weren't quite sure, I'm assuming, on what exactly Apple's gonna do with the action button. It was maybe just a rumor, maybe they had some mock-up phones that didn't have it or did have it, I'm not sure, but a lot of case manufacturers did have cases with the opening, and Caudabe still offers both versions on their site. You have the ability to get the one with the cutout or the one with the button cover, but for those of us that did pre-order this case, it did come out with the cutout. However, they gave us the ability to get the one with the button cover for just paying the shipping price. So I pretty much ended up with two cases for this phone, and I can't tell you that I am a happy customer because I'm an extremely happy customer. You came out with two cases, and these are my two favorite cases. One being the fact that they're both the same color, so you got two of the same ones, but then you also have the ability to choose between a button cover and a cutout, and it's cool that I have both versions. However, now at the time of this video, if you want to get a case from them, then you can choose either or, and you can get the cutout version a bit cheaper than the with the button cover on their site. So if you want to save a few bucks, you can go with the cutout version and you pretty much are good to go. You have the same exact case besides the button cover. So let's talk about the new things with this case. First of all, they did include this nice microfiber lining on the inside. So with the addition of this microfiber lining, now your phone is more protected than it was before, because before the cases just had the plastic backing of the case touching the phone. So if you had like a frosted glass iPhone, some of the generations previously did have that, it would kind of nick up the frosted glass and you could really tell on how it kind of rubbed with the case while it's been used. However, now with this microfiber lining, it's just like the Apple original cases that have the microfiber lining on the inside. It protects the phone, but it fixes a big issue that I had with previous generations. So before this case, after you use about, I guess, a month or so, the corners of the case would kind of slip off, not a lot, but just enough to bother me. And when I'm pulling the phone out of my pocket, it would kind of slip off. And to be honest, there was also a little bit of gapping between the corners and the case. That's why that slip off happened. However, when they made this case with the microfiber lining, I'm assuming what's happening now is the phone is more raised up, so it's pushing more towards the lip of the case, and I no longer have that issue. I mean, keep in mind, I'm making this video about 90 days since the release of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I've been using it for that long. I did get this one originally, but I then used this other one for another 2 months, and I have no issues with both of these cases. There's no more slipping anymore, and it feels like this case is literally made from Apple with precision. And I really do like how it fits the phones. I mean, now the only other difference is the action button, of course, like I mentioned, but the actual case design did stay the same from the previous years. And this year does have the extra MagSafe magnet on the bottom compared to just the ring like the previous cases did. But other than that, I can tell you that this case is my go-to case. I use this case every single day. The only time I would maybe take it off is if I wanted a leather case to use with like a leather watch band, if I'm dressing up nicely, then yes, I would definitely go for a leather case. But my everyday case is the Caudabe Sheath case. I have the Caudabe Sheath cover for my AirPods Pro. It's the same material, and then I also have it for my AirTag. They are called different names on the site. However, they are from the same material as the Caudabe Sheath, and I'm telling you, this is my favorite case. And if you're someone that's looking for something that's minimal, it has shock protection when you drop it, and it just looks good, and it will not really wear over time, then the Caudabe Sheath case is definitely the one to go for. I did want to also mention that this case, when dropped, barely has any scuffs. So I've had mine for 90 days. However, it is pretty much in pristine condition. So this is on the hardwood in my home. This is outside when I've dropped it. You can barely tell that it's ever been dropped. Literally, when I drop it on the floor, on the concrete, I just start rubbing the corner and it looks just like it did on the first day that I got it. And it's really good. I mean, I have never tested it from a very high, height or, from far away, but I can tell you that from the small drops that could happen to a normal person, this case looks just like I just bought it. And that is the best thing about it, because I really hate also cases that kind of wear over time. I mean, if it's leather, yes, that's fine. It can patina over time. But with cases like these, I really like having a case that looks good on my phone, because cases in the first place don't really show off the nice look of the phone underneath. So if the case looks nice as well, it kind of compensates for the phone. And that's my personal opinion. I like my case to look new as well. Even though it's still protecting the phone underneath, I would like the case to look well. So with that in mind, this is my go-to case, like I mentioned, and the cutouts haven't changed throughout the years. They are precise like they always were. The camera does have a nice bump on the back, so if you place it face down on a table, you have no risk of really scratching the lenses. And the front also has a nice lip around all of the screen, and you don't have any risk of scratching the screen, unless of course you have some debris on the table, then maybe you could scratch it, but other than that, the screen is raised. And one more thing I want to mention as well is the fact that I use a screen protector always with this case, not because I want protection from my actual screen on my iPhone or from scratches. It's because the lip is really snug around the phone, and with these phones having gesture control on the screen, I would like a more flush feeling when I'm pulling into a gesture onto the screen. So let's say I want to go from the bottom of the phone towards the top, then it has a more smoother feel, and I don't really feel the lip as much, because the screen protector that I've installed is a little bit higher than the screen, and it's not even out, I would say, but it's enough where it doesn't really bother me. So let's say I want to pull the control center from the top or the notification center, I have no more issues with that when I use a screen protector. And that's solely the main reason why I use a screen protector. If I were to go caseless, I would literally just peel the screen protector off and use the phone how it is. But when using this case, I really do like having that flush appearance on the top. So that's something that does bother you, from both your cases, where when you go from side to side, or let's say you want to do a gesture from the top corners, then make sure you add a screen protector on top so you have that more flush appearance. I haven't seen a lot of people mention that before with cases, and I feel like this is something that really helps me out and makes me enjoy the case even more. But if you like this video, then definitely give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions about this case, and I'll leave a comment down below if I have an answer. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Zanev Tech is out.